Good evening. Welcome to Live After 5. I'm just en route back from the office in Waterford and I'm a bit late, but anyway, better late than never, as they say. Check out the beautiful view here in Anrang in the Gaeltacht. I'm very lucky to live here. I just want to chat about the rental market at the moment. It's been very topical in the media at the moment, and I did an interview on WLR last week. I've done a number of them. Hi Leah, thanks for watching. And look, there's a recent Daft report that's out about how few properties, over 700 properties for rent at the moment in all of Ireland, according to Daft. Then I was reading an article in the Times to say these numbers are not accurate. So here's a quick summary of the position of Ireland's rental market, not just in Waterford. So first of all, the article in the Times is correct. Not all properties for rent are advertised on Daft. The reason for that is when a property goes up on Daft, the agents' phones go berserk. You could have a situation where the phones are ringing all day long and agents don't have the resource to answer the phones all day to do with one property. And then you have hundreds and hundreds of inquiries for that one property via Daft. So what a lot of agents are doing is they are putting together waiting lists, a waiting list for the property that one would have available to rent. If you're looking to rent, you need to have your paperwork in order, i.e. excellent references. Give a synopsis of your position, whether you have pets. Pets are a hindrance to rental, to be honest. And if you're smoking, that's an issue as well. So the rental housing market is particularly bad. And the reason it's particularly bad is because landlords are racing out of the market, and they're mainly racing out because of a number of reasons. One, heavy legislation that's coming in on a regular basis, lack of lack of security for landlords because they don't know what's coming down the tracks. They don't know. Landlords are property owners. Over 78% of landlords own only one or two properties. It's a dirty word. It's probably a dirty word going back to the famine days. So we'll call them property owners. Without these property owners, we don't have any supply. We don't have any properties to rent. And as the government demonise the small property owners, then they continue to exit the market. As I've said, landlords, property owners, small property owners pay somewhere in the region of 52% tax. So for €1,000 rent, they're getting probably 48% of that rent back, for let's say 500 to round it off. And then they have to pay maintenance because the landlord, the property owner, is responsible for the maintenance. So it doesn't work out as profitable as people think. And a lot of people are talking at the moment about, what can we do? And yes, tax really on profit is a really smart thing, because you have some property owners who have mortgages to pay. So that means that they have a mortgage on the property and they don't have any equity on the property, which means that the mortgage payment might actually be greater than the rental income. So we deal with a number of landlords who are in that situation. So the money that they're taking in from the rent is actually lower than the mortgage payment, particularly people who got hit with the rent pressure zone. So the rent pressure zone is good in some instances, but the problem is it's unfair and it's also unevenly divided. What do I mean by that? Well, you could have landlord A, property owner A, who owns one house, property owner B, who owns the house next door. The property B owner was charging market rent and property A wasn't. They were somewhat sympathetic to their tenant. The tenant was there a long time. They didn't increase the rent and they may be €600 behind on the market rent. So then the rent pressure zone came in overnight, and then property A owner was only able to increase the rent at the time by 4%. Now it's 2%. So a lot of property owners got caught badly. Also, overseas landlords and large funds pay a different tax rate to the private owner of property. In other words, government are penalising the small property owners, the ones actually who are struggling the most. So that's a really big issue. So tax, The legislation, the rent pressure zone, we need to consider tenants. We need to consider security of tenure. That's really, 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 really important. I totally support that. I also support security in terms of rent increases. That's very, very important. But you do have an unlevel playing field really for all the world. And I know some people are, these greedy landlords. Not all landlords are greedy. There are some who are. And a lot of our landlords are very fair. But if they continue leaving the market, our supply is tightening and tightening. Hi Caroline, thanks for watching. So it is a detrimental position that we are in. I've been talking about this for a number of years, and all my predictions have come through, as have other property experts. So really speak to your political people that are coming and talking to you. It is a bad environment and a bad country that we cannot provide rental accommodation. Not everybody wants to buy. Not everybody's in a position to buy. So some people are transient. They're coming into the country. They might be working in pharma. They might be working in the hospital. They might be a dentist. They might be young couple cohabiting together for the first time. Families splitting up, need a second property. So not everybody's in a position to buy, and they need to rent. And so obviously we need more social housing, because the government is putting all of the HAP tenants and the tenants in receipt of social welfare into the private housing and eating up all the supply, which means it's just worsening. So that's just a very quick synopsis of where we're at, and we definitely need the government to make changes in the budget. I just strongly implore anybody who's speaking to their local politicians to put this forward. Thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely evening. And as I always say, slán go fóill.